Today we got a weekly update in Black Ops 6, a teaser for Season 4, and even a title update. One you actually have to download, so what's changed, what's new, and what should you know about? Today we're covering all that and more, so drop your thoughts, drop a like, and make sure to subscribe for more, but for now, let's get into it. Firstly, content side of things, the Blaze of Glory event is out, the Code Got Your 6 event is in. So those camos, if you did not complete the Blaze of Glory event, the both standard reward camo for completing that event and the Black Cell variant, those are now gone away. They will not be coming back. More likely to come though in the future in regards to camos and events like that. But new with this event is the Code Got Your 6 event and the overall blueprint reward of the all chipped out AIMS 85 blueprint. Now to unlock this, you have to complete all 7 challenges, all each coming along with different criteria for multiplayer, zombies, or Warzone. Personally, I think scrolling through some of these challenges, a lot of these can be done maybe the easiest and quickest within Plunder, just simply going around and looting stuff up. Most of which you can also do solo and just simply grind it out, but you do have the weapon sticker and weapon charm. You end up having to either buy back players or purchase 5 loadout drops. So that does require you to go into at least Battle Royale and play with other players for one of those as well. But other than that, I mean, they're all pretty straightforward challenges, just going to take a little bit of time of conscious effort going for them. But again, you end up getting that AIMS 85 blueprint at the end. Now, this is an interesting one because, I mean, this is a camo we've seen before, but now just imprinted on a blueprint. So my assumption would be that this is something that was made before this sort of transition into camos, and my hopium is that the remaining seasons within Black Ops 6 grant camo rewards rather than blueprints, and this was just, again, kind of one of those ones that is left over from what was made before that conscious transition, but we'll have to wait and see. Other events include a double XP event, but kind of put an asterisk on this one because it's not necessarily the double XP that you might initially think of with rank or weapon XP. Instead, this is actually just Battle Pass XP doubled here for this weekend. We did end up seeing that we had recently a double XP event for weapon and rank XP, so this kind of just evens it out in regards to the seasonal offering and what we have, that all 3 have been hit. And finally, the High Art event was actually extended for another week here. So if you did not get the Ladra or the mini rocket rounds for the Goblin before they go into the armory and then everything else is lost, you do have another week to grind that out. But beyond that, we also saw some changes to the game modes here on offer, where you have Rapid Mosh Pit, Chaos Blaze Town, and Firing Range 24/7 returning. Rapid Mosh Pit is Domination, Hardpoint, Kill Confirmed, and TDM on most maps, but the difference with this is there's a constant UAV sweep and Ghost is ineffective. So Radar, basically always on, those custom games you'd end up putting up in private matches, have essentially turned public here for this mode. So that should be an interesting one to play around with. Chaos Blaze Town is just 10v10 Blaze Town, that Nuketown variant with 10 players per team, and then Firing Range 24/7 returning. Self-explanatory, only firing range on a various number of game modes. Then the final thing added in as of today's content side of things was the Call of Duty Endowment United Force Pack. This comes along with 2 operator skins, 2 weapon blueprints, a sticker, charm, spray, emblem, calling card, and loading screen, where normally I don't care at all for bundles really, but the Call of Duty Endowment ones are some of the ones I can get behind regularly when they're introduced, because 100% of the proceeds for those bundles don't go to any suits pockets or anything like that, but instead they go to the Call of Duty Endowment, which puts veterans into jobs after returning home from deployment and their service. So I've always thought that it's a great initiative, as some things are way more important than just gaming and certainly corporate profit, and helping veterans is absolutely one of those things that is more important. So that's out there available. I'll probably be picking it up. Whether you do or not, that's entirely up to you. It's not my place to tell you how to spend your money, but that was the final thing that was added as of today's update in being thorough. But okay, what about that title update here that we had to actually download? It was less than a gigabyte of data, but we did have to download it, so surely we have to have something to account for the actual update, right? Not just a playlist refresh. Well, according to Activision, the only thing mentioned is what COD Updates has mentioned. So simply, we've disabled the third-person infill-only setting while we investigate an issue, and we've re-enabled the thermal 6x scope attachment. So 2 probably very specific things that you may or may not have encountered or played around with at all, and are relatively 2 small and minor changes to Warzone. Though, of course, 1, I get it. The third-person glitch gave advantages in information at the sacrifice of no ADS, so that was something that was becoming a bit problematic, so that you did have to end up actually removing that, or fixing it. I guess removing that setting temporarily is the way that they get around that while they get a fix ready, but other things, well, there's nothing really that came out of this update. It's been mentioned by some people in the community so far that it seems like more Easter eggs were added to Verdansk, with red key cards now in chest and Bunker 12 requiring a broadcast code. But other than that, doesn't seem like a whole ton was actually added as of this update. Though I would be remiss if I didn't mention the changes the other day as well, because we did get an update that did change some gameplay things, where in multiplayer, there was a fix added for the perk selection in the perk greed setting, where previously, after the Season 3 Reloaded update, if you chose the perk greed sort of slot in your creator class, it would default back to initially picking a perk 1 category. So if you selected a perk thinking it was going to be your perk greed slot, well, you just messed up your entire flow of the 3 perks you had already set up. Then there were other minor bugs fixed, like stats loading into hardcore being incorrect. Zombies, the PhD slider augment of PhD flopper would not load in on a saved file game. There was an exploit for having multiplayer perks active in zombies. That was closed. Frost Blast got a buff in duration and in requiring less kills to charge. And the Free Fire ammo mod was delayed between firing the underbarrel attachment that made killing boss zombies basically instantaneous. From a casual approach to this, I personally don't see the need for it in a PvE element and sort of arena like that, but that's just me. I thought that was kind of a fun bug to have. If anything, I think it would have been cool to just have it for a little bit longer, maybe fix it out at Season 4's launch, but doesn't seem to be the case. And then Warzone saw a few minor bugs fixed. That was today's update for Black Ops 6 and what you can actually play right now, but also today we got our first look at some Season 4 content, because Treyarch actually put out the outro cinematic for Season 3, kind of giving some clarity on the Season 3 storyline and then where we'll go in Season 4, where they said Hudson from Beyond the Grave basically saved the day, but then they end up sort of panning across this long table, littered with all kinds of different paperwork, some weapons, which we'll touch on in a second, and then ultimately we end up seeing a flash of, like, there's a secret weapon that Adler still has, and they end up going to a jail cell, which is, well, Stitch. Stitch is back. He's not dead. They didn't kill him in the Black Ops Cold War outro, apparently, now at this point. But Stitch is going to be your main operator here for Season 4. Those other things you may have noticed, again, coming back to those weapons on the table, were the FFAR and the LC-10. So more classic throwback weapons, kind of more so, again, leaning into the classic Verdansk eras, I guess you could say, where these were prominent within the meta for Black Ops Cold War's Warzone support. But if you weren't a huge fan of, like, recycling old nostalgic content from OG Warzone, you might be in the same boat here again for Season 4. Maybe we saw a map tease for the whiteboard of Camp Zeta, though I don't know if we have anything at this point to really indicate that. But that was the stuff that was teased here. Also, give me that Adler skin. I really hope that's coming along with it. That's a good one. But this should just be the first marketing for Season 4. Next Wednesday to Thursday would be my biggest guess for when we see a reveal, but we'll have to see. It's really kind of dependent on what all is coming for next season across the entire offering. Like, we don't know the quantity-wise just yet what we're getting for multiplayer, zombies, or Warzone. So if it's a massive season like Season 3, they made this massive marketing push for Warzone coming back in its Verdansk original form and stuff like that, where they started the marketing earlier than 1 week out, but it could be a little bit earlier, could be right at that mark of 1 week out. We'll just have to wait and see. But that ends up rounding out what we've seen today, the update and teases coming along with that. So just wanted to fill you guys in real briefly here on some new stuff, because I feel like it's few and far between before we have stuff that we can actually talk about within Black Ops 6 lately in between these seasonal events, but a little bit here to sort of digest, but that's going to wrap it up. So drop your thoughts down below, drop a like if you guys enjoyed the video, and make sure to subscribe for more Black Ops 6 and other FPS coverage. I'd love to have you in the community. For now though, thanks so much for watching. Mine has been Espresso. I'll see you later. Take care and peace.